KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
Yo, what's up? I'm gonna kick it with mine, y'all know. Just love to that kick it. Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Take a picture, it's simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What? Yep, yep.
We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church Information in Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. We each and every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on KNON 89.3 FM, the voice of the people. Got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things going on. In the 7 o'clock hour, we have with us in the studio Dr. Roscoe Smith. He's been with the Dallas Independent School District. He served as a principal in other positions. Also, he headed the office of Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson for 7 years, and he's heavily involved in what's going on in our community, especially with our children at this point in time. He's with the Coalition for an Accountable System of Education, and they're going to have a big conference that's coming up Friday, March the 22nd, Saturday, March the 23rd. This will be held at the Friendship West Baptist Church. It starts on Friday at 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. On Saturday, it starts at 8 a.m. to 12 noon. That's the 2020 West Wheatland Road right here in the city of Dallas, Friendship West Baptist Church, pastored by the Reverend Dr. Freddie Haynes. We're going to be hearing more of that, and we're going to be hearing more from Dr. Smith and those who are members of the Coalition for an Accountable System of Education. CASE. Got a lot of things going on. But anyway, always we're going to hit a couple of Black History notes and get your pen and paper out and get ready for Mr. Greg Barber. He'll be coming in just later on in the program. But just for a few Black History notes, we hit them all throughout the program. In 1995, bass singer Melvin Franklin of the Temptations died of complications following a brain seizure in Los Angeles, California. Melvin was only 53 years old. He had a bass voice like you couldn't believe. Oh my God, he was beautiful. Also, in 1979, Frankie Patterson named the first black general in the Marine Corps. Can you believe it was just as late as 1979? I know to some of you young people, y'all feel like that's a long time ago. To me, it seems like yesterday. 1979, we got our first African American general in the Marine Corps. This is, oh God. Let me move on. In 1965, Constance Baker Motley elected Manhattan Borough President, the highest elective office held by a black woman in a major American city. Constance Baker Motley, 1965. Lord have mercy. That's late years. But now here's one. Now this guy was born in 1929, and he's, to me, y'all will disagree. Everyone will say differently, but to me, this is one of the greatest catchers, if not the greatest catchers ever to play football. A gentleman by the name of Elston Howard. In 1965, Elston Howard signed a $70,000 contract with the New York Yankees, which made him the highest paid baseball player in the major leagues, 1965. But let's be real about it. Elston Howard came along. He was about the third black African American to play in the major leagues, and Elston Howard actually moved Yogi Berra out of that catching position. Elston Howard, one of the greatest catchers of all time. Dr. Smith, you remember him?
I remember him. I do. Yeah.
A great player. But anyway, we'll come back to more black notes. But right now, we'd like to introduce to you some and just present to many of you. Do we have our job line on already? All right. Let's go get our job line, and then we'll hear from Dr. Roscoe Smith. Let's go to line 3 and get our job line. Say good morning to Mr. Greg Barber. Greg, are you there?
Good morning, Rev Barnett.
Fine. How are you this morning?
Doing fine, doing fine.
How am I sounding over there? I'm sorry.
You're coming through fine.
I'm coming through fine? Okay, maybe it's my headset. All right, good. Are there any jobs out there?
There are some jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line. That's Solutions and Actions Today job line, brought to you every Saturday morning doing church information and open forum from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. here on Knon 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have Velocity Express is looking for warehouse support. They're asking you to send your resume and salary requirements to recruiter999@hotmail.com and reference job code WS-FM. Once again, Velocity Express is looking for warehouse representatives. They're asking you to send your resume and salary requirements to this email address, recruiter, RECRUITER999@hotmail.com and reference job code WS-FM. DXP is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply online at www.dxpe.com. Once again, that web address is www.dxpe.com. Looking for warehouse associates. The Transportation Security Authority is looking for transportation security officers. You can apply online at www.tsajobs.tsa.dhs.gov, or the number for inquiry is 877-872-7990. Once again, Transportation Security Authority is looking for transportation security officers. You can apply online at www.tsajobs.tsa.dhs.gov. Or the number for inquiry is 877-872-7990. Family Heritage Insurance is looking for customer service representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.familyheritage.com. Or the number for inquiry is 800-457-4150. Once again, that number for inquiry is 800-457-4150. Niagara Water is looking for production representatives. They're asking you to apply online at www.careers.niagarawater.icims.com. Once again, that web address is www.careers.niagarawater, NIAGARA, water.icims.com. Uline is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply online at www.uline.com. Once again, Uline is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply online at www.uline.com. If you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery effort, or an ex-offender trying to make that transition back into mainstream society and need assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make their transition back into mainstream society and need assistance with job searches, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Let me repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Today is also a great day to make a pledge to church information in open form and follow through with it. Today is also a great day to make a pledge to church information and follow through with it. Rev Barnett, one key black history moment also. Who was the last state to ratify the Emancipation Proclamation?
The last state? You might have got me. Was it Texas?
No, sir.
South Carolina?
No, sir.
Which one?
And this is the shocking part. They just did it here recently. The state of Mississippi.
They never did ratify that?
They just have ratified the Emancipation Proclamation.
They didn't do it with their hearts anyway. Even in 2013, I wouldn't trust Mississippi. Isn't that something?
Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't surprise. It don't surprise me. I'm not shocked or surprised by none of these things that happen, because the hearts of men it's hard to change. It's hard to change, but we still have to keep on fighting. I can't worry about what other folk do, but we got to worry about what we are doing and make sure we do it and do it right and continuously do it, because our struggle for freedom is an unending struggle. We sort of have allowed our, taking our guard down, and we got sucker punched. Now we got to get our guard back up and strike back. So this is just the way it is out here in this life. All righty. Thank you, Greg. You did a great job, as always. That was Mr. Greg Barber with our Solution in Action Today job line, ISCT job line. But right now, we'd like to welcome to the Knon microphone to our hotline. Good morning to Mr. Roscoe Smith. Good morning, Mr. Smith.
Good morning, Reverend Barnett.
Fine.
God bless you this morning, sir.
Yes, God bless you. I'm looking for at the Coalition for Accountable System of Education. You're having this big conference over at Friendship West, March 22nd, 23rd. And along with the General Superintendent, Mike Miles. Can you tell us what's going on? Who is the coalition? What are y'all all about? Can you explain that?
Well, first thing I'd like to say that we're about the boys and girls who are beginning to fall through the cracks in the Dallas Independent School District. What has happened is that at a point in time, African American students scored higher than anyone in this whole city. And then and probably the state. But what has happened in the last few years, they began to fall lower and lower and lower. They're at the bottom now. Okay, there's about 35 schools on the lowest scoring schools of the state are right here in Dallas.
In the whole state?
In the whole state, and it's mostly in the African American community. And so we've been kind of what we've been doing. We were retired, just walking around, having a good time. But we looked up and saw this, and we just couldn't stay retired. We just had to come out and do something to make sure that things would be done right, so that boys and girls can learn. I've
been calling on this program for our greatest and most successful generation of African Americans in America are those that are retired and coming into retirement age. I've been talking about this a lot. You've been the greatest. You earned the most. You got the most education. You not only learned how in the universities, but you had fathers and mothers who taught you how to work with your hands as well as with your heads. We don't realize what a great generation of African Americans, I would say, about 55 till death, what we learned. There's a good chance. Where are you from?
Hope, Arkansas.
That's a good. You ever worked in the fields?
Yes, I picked cotton.
You picked cotton?
Picked cotton, yes. Picked a lot of cotton.
Picked a lot of cotton. So did I. college.
Right. Yes, sir.
But you also went to school.
I went to school. I did.
You know
Every day.
You know how to work with the sun hanging over your head.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to work in the shade.
Right.
You know how to work in the heat. You know how to work in the air condition.
Right. Yeah.
And that is something that the average young man today,
Mm-hmm.
or young woman,
Yes.
don't know how to do.
Right.
If skilled labor was to open up and say, let's hire X amount of African Americans, would we know how to tie steel? Would we know how to, do we have any skills as brick masons now? Do we just, so much that we could do that we took for granted when we learned when we were young,
Right.
that
Yes.
these young men don't have access to anymore.
Yeah.
So the coalition, y'all are for an accountable system of education. It sounds like y'all going to be held accountable. Are you going to hold the Dallas Independent School District accountable? Can you explain what's going on?
We are going to be held accountable for ourselves. One, we want to hold the Dallas Independent School District accountable because, see, some things that happen, and it's not anything to do with who's there right now. But over the past few years, they've been pulling things out of this school district that had emphasis for African Americans, and then our boys begin to kind of fall.
They begin to lose interest.
Okay, we don't have Catherine Gillum and because Robert Price is with us now. Okay, but I mean this group, which found what they were doing, they were putting our boys and girls on the bus, carried them out to North Dallas, and keeping them on the bus until the bell sound. Then they would march them in through the back door, downstairs in a room, and they call it integration. So what happened was, we said, well, just bring our kids home. And give us the kind of things that they have out there, and they did that. And our boys and girls began to achieve and our school at Boys and Girls in North Dallas. Listen, it didn't take them long to get someone in here to cut that out.
They had to get rid of that.
Yeah,
they weren't going to have that now.
Got us out of court, and so we don't have any help to cause them to do what is right.
Well, when we look at that whole situation, that was what they call it, the M&M program,
right?
Minority majority transfer. I never did like that system to begin with, for the simple fact, if we were going to integrate, it should be reciprocal. They come to us, we go to them,
right?
But it was basically we went to them.
Right.
So if we're going to play the game on their home court, quite naturally we're going to get some home cooking.
Yes.
And seems like we did not really oversee it well. We trusted people to do what we thought was going to be right toward the children, but it ended up being a disaster.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And I've noticed that over the years. What is the coalition going to do? How do y'all? What is some of y'all strategies? What are y'all planning to do? What are you coming up with?
Well, we meet with the superintendents on a quarterly basis, and we just talk and this summit coming up is one of the things that we are doing, because we're saying not to teachers, not to the principals, not to the parents, but to all of us. Okay, that we have a job to do, and that job is to make sure that we do the kind of things that's interest our boys and girls and cause them to want to learn and to do good in school.
So what has the system done? It's moved away from our children. It first moved, well, it never was, I'll be honest about it. I've never been impressed with them. But when we begin to see how the school district, we're only, about 29-28% of the children in DISD now?
Yeah, right, just a little bit over 30%.
We're just a little bit over 30.
Right.
It's not African American as in numbers, but we still have, how many? About 50,000 kids in DISD? How many kids we got now?
A little 40-some thousand kids.
About 40-some thousand kids in
Mm-hmm.
DISD. That's a lot of children still.
Right, yes.
And you're saying that we're not. We're up against a break. I saw this hand waving in the dark. Look here, we're going to take a short break, and if you'd like to join this conversation, you can call us at 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893, and speak with Dr. Roscoe Smith. We're talking about our children, how to get them better education in the Dallas public schools, and we'll be right back.
Knon thanks you for your pledge to our recent pledge drive. Now is the time to make your pledge count. Send your pledge to Knon's P.O. Box 710909, Dallas, Texas 75371. If you missed our pledge drive, you can still support community radio by pledging on the web at knon.org. Your pledge only counts if you pay it. That's Knon Box 710909, Dallas, Texas 75371. Be sure you put the name of the show you are supporting on the check, money order, or the envelope. Questions about Knon Pledge Drive, call 214-828-9500, extension 234.
This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on Knon's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two-Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Betty Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit Knon, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
We're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Your special guest this morning is Dr. Roscoe Smith, an educator in many different ways. And he's with this group, the Coalition Case. This great coalition that's addressing our problems. They're not just talking. They're doing something, and they're having this big conference. And it's sort of like a retreat, but it's going to be there at the Friendship West Baptist Church. And on the brochure I have is urgent meeting to save our children. Urgent. Dr. Smith, y'all have put this on the front burner then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's urgent.
Yes, sir. It's very, very urgent. Very urgent. And we just would like to say to our parents that come on out and to this summit, and we want to try to have all of us, teachers and principals and all the people of the city, to come on out to this summit and try to help put together to make sure our boys and girls can succeed in school. Mm-hmm. They've done it before.
Well, but I just can't. These children seem like they have so much more than we had years ago.
Yes. And
there's just, how can a child not learn in this day and time? This has to be something that's just not a happenstance. Do you think that the fate of our children in DISD, is that by design?
Well, let's say this, that it's the overall community. What happened was, at the time our boys and girls were succeeding, were doing outstanding work in the public schools, and were doing great things, they came in and they took out of our schools the kind of things that would cause our boys and girls to be very successful. They took it out. In fact, they brought people in here to get us out of the court, so the court couldn't watch to say that this is what's good for boys and girls, and do them. So then they've taken all that out, and so and now the district can do those kind of things if they desire to do them.
Now this was when it was in the course with Judge Sanders, right?
That's right, Judge Sanders, right.
All right. Now I remember years ago. What's his? Oh, I'm thinking of the lawyer, little short guy, E. Bryce Cunningham,
Right.
and all of them were in court for a long time.
That's right.
And the children seemed to were doing real good. They were knocking the ball out the park.
That's right.
I'm going back now. It's been some years ago, but
Right.
this has been over 30 years ago.
Right.
It's been about 30, a little more. They were knocking the ball out the park.
Right.
But all of a sudden, and now we can't even bunt.
Right.
What was, be specific, what were some of the things that you think they did that really have hampered the progress of our children?
Okay, well, there were programs. We had the learning centers,
Right.
okay,
Mhm.
in this district. And in the learning centers, they made sure that, that they had teachers in the learning centers that were trained in the subject that they were teaching. Okay, they had the science, I had math teachers at Rose where I was that was talking about a logarithm and all kind of high power. Our kids would learn stuff I didn't even know.
I know they were knocking it out of the park some years ago.
Yeah, they was outstanding, and so, but we don't want to put it all on that point. We want to also talk about our parents. I want to say to our parents is that when I was a child, and I would go home after school, and my father would say, "All right, Roscoe, get your homework out." So I say, "Daddy, I don't have any homework."
Oh my God!
And so he said, "Well, Roscoe, all right, okay, you can go out to play today." The next day I came home. He said, "Roscoe, get your homework out." I said, "Daddy, I don't have any homework." And he set me down at your table, and he said, "Now go get your English book, okay?" And so I said, "Daddy, my book is at the school in the locker." So he said, "Well, all right, so you go get the Bible and some pencil and paper. So we're going to read and write from the Bible." And from that point on, listen, I got my homework out. My father saw to it that I sat at that table every day, you see, and did homework.
Exercise your mind.
Exercise your mind. But the point is that boys and girls, a lot of them will take the least resistance sometimes. Studying is hard,
Yeah.
You got to sit there, and you could rather be out playing and something like
It's
that.
hard when you haven't developed the habit.
Right, yes.
I was made to develop a habit of studying, even though I love to be outdoors playing. I was very athletic, but I had developed a habit, and sometimes I hate to say it, that habit can be beaten into you. That you think about that whipping.
Yes, right.
And I better get this lesson, and then go in and study, and then go out and play. Prioritizing ourselves. Do you find our parents, are they prioritizing things that are good for our children, then allow the little playing or whatever, these little Nintendos or whatever they playing with now? Are there any priorities now?
Well, you can't put it across the board, okay? But see, some parents will probably let their children go out to play when they first come home from school. Some won't, you see. Some will say you got to get your homework out before you do anything. And so the main thing is to what you can do. You can kind of coordinate your area. Okay, now for example, at Rose, when I took my streets. I knew the academic index of every street in that district.
Okay.
And so, and I found on Bethune Street, I found that they scored at about the 76th percentile. That was a little above. It was a little above grade level. You see. Okay, because 50 percentile is grade level. Okay, but I had one child that scored at the 92nd percentile, and one over here scored at the 5th percentile. Very low. And so I talked with the parents. I said, could Johnny say study with your child? And so she said, well, you talk to his mother, and if he willing to come over here and study and not go out to play, say, well, you know, that's okay with me. So we were finding out that the boy that scored at the 4th percentile was going out to play every day, you know, was not doing any homework. But once he started studying with this other kid, then his scores began to come up. So it's not about, and then a lot of it was that sitting in a test, not putting on the paper everything you know. You said, so that's important too.
But now, you said something in describing your life. I know you're not taking it for granted, but people, it's food for thought. You said your father
Yes.
did this.
Right.
How many fathers are present now?
Well, it's, yeah. That,
Did you respect your father?
I did. Oh, yes, I did.
Did you fear him?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Is respect and fear still in our homes?
Yes.
You have to ask that question.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Are parents now trying to befriend children rather than raise them? What's going on? You kept referring back to the parent. What are parents really doing? Are they befriending, or are they just they're not putting and giving the discipline to make the children learn as they should, or is it not being produced in the school, the things that would make children want to learn? Where are the problems?
Well, I guess it's belief. That belief system. You have to believe. Even in the college, when we were going to school, you know, even some of the college textbook will point to you that boys and girls who come from low income families will have a hard time learning. Boys and girls who come from low income areas will have a hard time learning. Boys and girls who come from a single parent home will have a hard time learning. And so a lot of even professionals have bought into that thing. You see, okay, but I want to tell them that, I mean, that people like Ben Carson, the most famous neurosurgeon on earth, the one that separated the Siamese twin, when they went all over the world, in Germany and in Spain, I mean, to try to find someone to do it, and they couldn't, but they went here. This young African-American doctor, okay, was the one that separated them. And what I want to say that...
But, let me ask you something about Ben
Carson. He didn't live...
You had him at Joseph J. Rhodes.
Yes, I did.
Now, did he ever tell you about it? He and I was at the airport together once, and we were laughing and talking. He told me when he was in his class, I think he grew up in Boston or somewhere. I forgot where he said it was. He was the smartest kid in his class, integrated.
Right.
He said he had a professor to tell all the other kids that he was totally ashamed of them allowing this Negro boy to be the smartest one in this class.
Yes.
And all the rest of the kids were white.
Yes.
He told me that. So if he can go through all of that and achieve, what about today, 2013? Are we producing Ben Carsons?
Did you know that Ben Carson flunked out of school in the 5th grade?
I think this was the grade he was in. He was telling me. I don't know what had happened. I don't know if it affected him.
Right. Yes.
But he told me this.
Yeah. He went on a science excursion over the summer and learned about rocks and things, and that turned him on. And a teacher befriended him, and that caused him to turn around. So what we're saying is that we can't write kids off in the kindergarten and 1st grade.
Oh no!
If a kid in the 5th grade can flunk out of school and then turn out to be the most famous neurosurgeon on earth, so this whole thing about no fathers there, that won't work.
You don't think that'll work?
No. Okay, about low-income families, that won't work.
I know, that don't work.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, now, that caused me to go and try to find a whole lot of people that fit that category. Now, Jesse Jackson fit that category.
Right.
Some people don't care that much about Jesse, but he didn't know his father,
No.
Okay, so it's not about, it's about, now, a mother and a father there is a help when they working together. Okay, but it's not the kind of thing that's going to cause your children not to achieve.
All right, what about that person that sits at the head of that class, behind that desk up there? How important is that person to the learning of those children?
Very important. That person, first, that person has to believe that
the child can learn.
Child can learn. Because, see, if you don't believe, when you go home at night, you won't even do a little thing extras to bring back to the kids, because you say, well, why do it? Because they're not going to learn anyway.
All right. Well, what about during the time we so-called integrated here in Dallas? They took many of our best black teachers, sent them to North Dallas.
Yes.
I know this for a fact.
Yes.
They sent many of the less skilled teachers, younger ones,
Yes, right. Yes.
Those who had not been seasoned,
Yes.
white teachers, and sent them to our part of town.
Right, yes.
So our best teachers went to them.
Right, yes.
Their less experienced teachers came to us.
Right.
So how could we even begin to compete when we were getting inferior teachers that was pushed upon us? I often wonder, was so-called integration a mistake? I often wonder, but what's your opinion on that?
Well, there's two sides to that, and one side people could look at is that the opportunities came, when I was going to school out of Hope, Arkansas, there was not much you could aspire to do or be other than a preacher or a teacher. You see,
right.
Okay. These other business jobs, I don't care how much you knew about it, you couldn't get it. You couldn't get it. You could be the one to design it, but you couldn't get the job.
That's
see, and so that has helped. That's opened up a great deal. Okay, and then the next thing is that the facilities all over. You can, you can go into different, take your family into different restaurants. Okay, to different. When I was in Hope, Arkansas, there was a couple of places that you could go downtown to use a restroom. Okay, at the train stations, other places, but you just have to go downtown and be there all day long. And come on back.
Couldn't use the restroom.
Couldn't use the restroom, and so
see, the bus stations a lot of times wasn't open to you.
No.
Train stations, were no public facilities.
Yeah.
And things were bad. But was it all bad for us? It pressured us to develop ourselves.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
We didn't have to depend on anyone else, because we had nobody else that was going to help us but ourselves.
Right.
And then during that time, we sent children to some of the best universities across the world.
Right.
We developed them in our own schools. We did things because many times we couldn't shop in certain places or do certain things. We had our own businesses.
Right. Yes, we did. Yes.
I just wonder about it. I tell you what, I'm up against a short break, and I guarantee you, I'm going to take some calls. This last segment, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. You can speak with Dr. Roscoe Smith. We'll be right back.
Jim Hightower has moved to be a part of KNON's Speak Up Saturday. Jim Hightower's segments can now be heard at the start of each of KNON's great talk programming, starting at 7 a.m. with Rev Marion Barnett's show, Church Information and Open Forum, with the news and talk of South Dallas. Then at 9, the CWA presents Workers Beat with the news and talk of the unions, hosted by Gene Lance and Bonnie Matthias. At 10, the Dallas Observer presents Get Off My Lawn with Jim Schutz, bringing you the other side of Dallas news. Finishing up Speak Up Saturdays at 11 is Lambda Weekly with the news and talk of the LGBTQ community, hosted by David Taffet, Patty Fink, and Laurent Landis. Now starting at each of these shows is Jim Hightower's insightful segment at 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 a.m. each and every Saturday morning right here on the Voice of the People, KNON 89.3 FM.
Dallas J. Spivey Productions presents the Gigantic Gospel Concert 2013, featuring some of the gospel artists like the Rance Allen Group, Doc McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, Little Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th at Friendship West Baptist Church, 2020 West Wheatland Road in Dallas, with the Rance Allen, Doc McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, and Lil Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4. Tickets at ticketweb.com. Friendship West Baptist Church and J. Spivey Productions at 877-291-1918.
Top Dollar Tax Service. Tax preparation offering services for business and personal taxes. Electronic filing, W-2s, Schedule Cs, 1099. Student credit funded in 24 hours. That's Top Dollar Tax Service, located at 3333 Cedar Crest Boulevard in Dallas. Their phone number is 214-941-1176 or on the web at www.topdollartaxservice.com. Serving the community for over 8 years, a CPA is available. They are open Monday through Saturdays, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. and Sundays by appointment. For information, Omar at 214-941-1176. That's 214-941-1176. Hey.
We're back on Church Information and Open Forum, and you can call us at 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893 is the number to call to talk to Dr. Roscoe Smith. All right, let's go to line 4 and say good morning to KC. He's been waiting a long time. KC, are you still there?
Of course I am, Pastor Barnett. How you doing? Dr. Smith, how you doing, brother?
Good.
Good.
Thank you so much.
First, I want to say that this conversation, and from a historical perspective, has been long overdue. We could just take a show or a segment of a show and just focus strictly on African American students and public education. That's number one. But number two, Dr. Smith, you made an interesting point. You talked about specifically a point where our students, not too long ago, maybe a couple of decades, where our students were outperforming everybody else. Mm-hmm. What specifically have been some things that you know of that changed? And if we can identify the point where things began to change, we can begin to work toward turning it around. As a young educator, I honor and I stand on your shoulders and those just like you who stood in the gap for us for years. Now, we need to begin to branch this generational gap in terms of those who are effective educators and those who are in the field now, and how we can reclaim some of the things that helped our children be successful in the past.
Well, let me say that I think Rev Barnett hit it on the head. When he actually talked about the court order. So the court, it was built into that court order the kind of things that's needed for all boys and girls to succeed, and that was the whole thing. And in that court order, African Americans began to receive the kind of things that other schools were receiving, and then in abundance. And so what they've done is, in order to move that out of our schools in low-income areas and the African-American communities, what they've done is they've gotten out of court, so the court can't hold them to it and make them do it. Okay, but the point is the school district and the Board of Education, they signed to say that they would do the kind of things that's good for these boys and girls, and say and they have not done it. They have allowed to come out of the schools, and they haven't put it back in the schools, and our boys and girls are suffering too.
All right.
Well, I appreciate that, and whatever I can do, I'm supporting.
All righty. Thank you. We thank you for your call and comment. Next is the line, 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. How do you feel? Do you feel like our trustees as a whole doing a good job?
Well, we love our trustees. We stand behind our trustees. And we in case we've talked about each of them, and we said that we would like to have any one of the trustees be our own trustee. See, so so we stand with them, but what we want to do is that there are other powers out there, and we want everyone to want our boys and girls to achieve and to say, come on and put these things back in these schools and do what's right for our kids. To put the kind of training that actually should be there.
Have you had any particular trustee to reach out to your group?
Oh yes. They all three have done so.
All three have reached out.
Oh yeah. Well, they met with us on several occasions. You see.
Yeah.
They met with us on several occasions, and they call us, and we've received at least 3 RSVPs already for the summit from trustees.
Okay.
Yeah, the board president is there, and some others have sent in their RSVPs.
Is Carla Ranger standing strong with you?
Oh yes, she is. Yes, she is. Yes.
Yeah. That's my personal trustee.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All righty. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Reverend Crenshaw. All righty. Good morning, preacher.
Yes.
Yes. Go right ahead.
This is Reverend Crenshaw. Yes, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Good. Integration, desegregation, whichever you want to call it, they were designed to fail in the beginning. For instance, on Friday night when you got paid, when they made it popular for you to go to majority places of dancing and restaurants, and your money was leaving the community. And then, so that that's when the color barrier was lifted, and it did cause our money to earn by our businesses and our work experience to leave so fast that by Monday morning it was all in the hands of the bank, and we don't have any power down there in the banks at all. And if you want to know how the old bait and switch about the drug cartels came to be, what you need to do is watch a picture called Dark Blue, DARKBLUE. It'll tell you the whole story about Pookie Williams. It'll tell you about everything you need to know about how they got it started, how they got it centralized out of Los Angeles, kind of moved across the country by terrorizing these guys and said, well, I'll lock you both back up in your cages if you don't move. And once you get there, I'll get in touch with you because they can track you.
All right.
That's basically how they did it.
All righty.
That movie with Kurt Russell and Bing Raines. God bless you.
So that's Dog Blue. Thank you, Reverend Crenshaw. All righty. All right. Thank you for that call and coming. 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go and speak with, is this Cash? All right. This line 3 on Cash. All righty. Good morning. No, that one ain't gonna work. But back to back to you. All right. When we see how many people are being affected by this lack of progress in DISD, they're coming out of school with a diploma, Is that diploma really mean a lot now that seems as if those low performing schools are I look at every school building I pass for some reason, and I can always tell if it's doing well because it'll have a banner hanging, recognition. You will not see a low performing banner hanging out there. So if it is recognized, excellent or whatever, we know this. So, and I see a lot of schools that don't have a banner on them. People don't have to guess. You just recognize, see those things. What is it about this situation? Will DISD be able to rectify it? Will it have to go to the state? I notice here you're going to have people have invited people from President Obama's office. You're going to have United States Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson is invited to be there. You're having a lot of people that has power to really get into this. So obviously you all are playing hardball. Yes. What is it? When the people come out, will they be able to raise questions to this conference?
Yes, they will. There'll be a forum there, for parents and teachers and other people to ask questions and to give input too. And then, of course, you say playing hardball. What we want to say is that we're at a point now, this is all we have. Our children, we can do all we can right now.
Can't afford to do no underhand pitching now.
No, that's right. And so we don't have anything to lose because we just, we're not being paid. We buying our own paper, buying our own pencils and our own toner and everything. And then making our own copies.
But we're paying taxes.
Oh, yeah, but
the tax base is not enough. It hurts me to have to see teachers spending really a lot of times. Teachers are spending their own money,
but see,
to educate our children.
But when I'm talking about people who are retired, like Dr. Alfred Roberts, Dr. Rosa Sorrells, K. Francis Hunter, Mary Lester, Dr. Charmaine Price, Robert Price, Irene Ridge, Dr. Al Sullivan, and Melvin Traylor. These retired people.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of more, but they are spending their own money, buying their own paper, making their own copies, and trying to help this to happen because we want to give back to.
This is that greatest generation of us, the most successful generation of our people that had.
Yeah.
That's in this age group. Dr. Traylor, I've known him for years. I remember when he was over there at Roosevelt. I knew his wife,
right?
They developed one of the best elementary schools in the history of this school. Yeah. Once upon a time, it went down. Mark Twain.
Yes,
that was one of the best elementary schools in years. When my older kids went through there. Right. Oh my God! You had people sneaking in from the suburbs. I'm talking about Caucasians sneaking in the suburbs and put them in that school because it was so good.
Right
now, but the school eventually. Things changed.
Yes,
they changed principals and different things, and Miss Traylor and a lot of the others. The principals sort of. I'll leave it alone. But those ladies had. Oh, that was a good school. That was a very good school. I can remember. Seemed like it. In the 80s is when that thing started really fading fast. The early 80s, late 70s, and all that, it was still good.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's right. Yes.
I can remember, and right before my eyes, these things began to evaporate.
Right. Yeah.
All right, let's go back to our phone line. Let's say, all right, we got Cash on line. We had the wrong first. All right, let's go to Cash on line 2. All right.
Hey, how's it going this morning?
Fine. How are you this morning?
All right. Boy, y'all got a very, very heated topic right there. Y'all talking about that school, man. It'll take you 3 weeks to get to the bottom of that subject right there. So,
you're right,
man. These schools are going haywire, man. Like that other gentleman was talking about. I can remember when I went to school. The police. You didn't have to get the police. You the bag for the police to come up there to save you. But now they got the bag for the police to come up there to save them.
Yeah.
And this thing is crazy, man. I'm talking about. And children were learning back then when I was going to school, man. I'm talking about.
Hold that right there, Cash. Let me ask you something. Do you think taking basic corporal punishment, discipline out of the schools. Have that hurt us,
Well, the
Dr.
biggest
Smith?
mistake they ever made in their lives, one of the biggest mistakes they ever made in their lives, when they took the prayer out, that was number one thing, and when they stopped them teachers from whooping them kids. When they stopped doing that, that's when they started getting whooped. Now, they getting just what they paid for. So.
Well, I don't think teachers did this. This was not
Not the teachers, the teacher, but the folks over the teacher did.
Yeah.
You already know who did it, not us. You know who always want to run everything. That's who did it. They thought they were gonna make everything so much better, but they found out that was a mistake, and now it's too late. They can't change it.
All righty.
But kids were learning though back then, man. I'm talking, wasn't no such thing, no child failing back then, because teachers were taking up time with them kids and getting this lesson done, and the lesson got done. That's just like I went to the school with my kids up there, man. You ought to see the way these teachers did. This young bunch, this young generation call themselves teaching. Man, I don't even know what the world they doing up there. What they call it teaching, but you sending all the doggone work home for me to do. Well, what you gonna do when the kids get back to school? You ain't gonna have nothing to do when they get there tomorrow.
All righty. We thank you for your call. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. That clears the line, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Lexi.
How y'all doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm good. Well, what I want to say, they always give these students a failing grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they
those who don't
they
perform.
took out? What'd you say?
Those who don't perform at a certain level, they put them on a low performance list.
Yeah, but they're taking out all this money out of these schools. You can't do nothing without money in these schools.
Dr. Smith, what about financing these public institutions?
Well, it goes back to the people in the highest places. Okay, now, not only Dallas, but Texas is at the bottom of the list in funding for schools.
One of the richest state in the union.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't spend a lot of money on education.
No.
Like we should.
That's right.
What is it? What happened to the money? Why is it we are so low in funding education in Texas?
Well, at this summit, okay, we've invited Senator Royce West to be there, and other state representatives, so we and see, some of them have been helping us, to do what we do. Okay, and so we're just letting them know that what we desire for our boys and girls, and now we want all boys and girls to learn, but we don't want the African American kids to keep falling behind.
We get left behind.
Left behind. That's right.
When we see things like this happening, are we not vocal enough, or do we do not speak up enough? We do not raise this issue. Are we afraid to say we are for African American children learning like everyone else? Why is it this is not being raised as loud as it should be?
Well, maybe the least resistance, I guess, that kind of a thing, because after I retired, I was just like a lot of other people. I was doing some of the things that I really wanted to do, Okay, but then when we looked around and our kids just keep on falling and falling, hey, time is out. Recess is over. It's time for all of us to come together and talk, to do what we can do for our boys and girls.
Do we need the input of more federal money?
We could use more federal money, but see, what happened is, we helped to cause that to happen, okay, by the people that we vote for, and it caused them to say that these are the kind of things that's what's good for us. If some things are out there that are not good for us, then we need to say, well, we would like something different than this. Okay, and then they can, when they go back into session and with their group, then they can vote and they can speak up for what we need.
Well, but here's what, and we're just about out of time. Can you stay over to the next section? We need. We just haven't got the tip of the iceberg of this thing, because we can produce the world's finest high school.
Yes.
Right there in Oak Cliff.
Right, yes.
Yvonne H. Ewell.
Yes.
World's finest high school.
Yes.
But right down the street, we can look at another school that's rock bottom, at the bottom of the tier. I tell you what, I'm up against a short break, and we'll be back for our second segment with Dr. Roscoe Smith. We'll be right back.
You're listening to KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people. Thanks for putting your voice in during Pledge Drive. We reached our goal, so let's get back to the music you love.
Walt Disney Inc. has announced that its Magic Kingdom will soon be even more magical, thanks to a new technological wonder called My Magic Plus. Only My Magic is not a fantasy. There's nothing magical about it, and you might think it's more of a minus than a plus. What it is, in the unfun terminology of Disney's corporate managers, is a vacation management system to monitor, track, and dissect your family's trek through their sprawling park. They want to know if you buy Mickey Mouse ears, what rides you choose, whether your child shakes Goofy's hand, what snacks you had, and other personal details of your visit, all attached, of course, to your credit card number and Disney's massive database. To keep track of you, your family will be given magic bands, which really are rubberized RFID wrist bracelets encoded with, well, the digital y'all. This will enhance the Disney experience, we're told. For example, the Cinderella character can say to your daughter, "Hi, Angie, I understand it's your birthday." The parking attendant will know your name, and how special is that? And when you get home, Disney Inc. will send you special offers to buy stuff based on the info its marketers strip from your Magic Band. Disney executives boast that My Magic Plus will be, quote, transformational. Yes, it transforms us from tourists to targets. Some questions you might want Disney to answer are: 1, are they also videoing our movements? 2, how long do they keep the data they grab from us? 3, what's the process for removing ourselves from their database? And 4, do they ever sell our information to other corporations or turn it over to government spooks? This is Jim Hightower saying the Disney charm has turned creepy. Until it can answer these questions to your satisfaction, don't let Disney put a magic band on your family.
This is William, your videographer for the KNON talk shows. You can watch church information and forum by going to the KNON.org website. Click on schedules to the left side of your screen. Choose Church Information and Forums page. Scroll to the bottom of that page, then choose your favorite show to watch or download. This show will be ready for viewing by lunchtime Tuesday. Have a great day.
Yo, what's up? I'ma kick it with the line, y'all know. Yo, Slim, can I kick it like that? Here we go. Well, it's time to make that change. People of the world today are fading. All of us have our ups and downs. You better think about it or you won't be around. What we need is a little bit of love, sent by one from heaven up above. Chicken fatigue is simple and plain. This ain't no game, you know what I'm saying? What? Yep. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
All right, we're back on segment number 2. And I tell you what, we still need some tax-deductible pledges coming in. 972-647-1893. You can call and make those pledges and keep us on there. Keep us discussing things that's really germane to our community. We meet the special needs that all of our peoples, whether you're seniors, children, or whatever. You control this particular show because you support this show. And we'd like to thank those who do support this show. We'd like to thank Reverend Scott Eichstein. We'd like to thank Joe. And if I don't call your name, don't charge him a head. Charge him a heart. Just say he's getting old. He can't remember all those particular names, but I've got so many good supporters, and we're going to call your name out. In fact, I plan to have you all a big gathering, a big party where we just sit around and have music and there's just really have a good time for all my supporters. We want to have a little nice affair because you all do a great job, but we need to add some more. And you can become a supporter at 972 647-1893. No place too small, no place too great. So call us at 972-647-1893. And if you'd like to talk and speak with Dr. Smith this morning and be a part of this. Now, this summit, this is going to be something, and this is the Summit on Education of African American students in the Dallas Independent School District. Now, we've got some educators, politicians, everyday people, you name it, that's all a part of this board and advisory board. And this is something that's really could take off and really do something, get something done to help our children. We need this. We need this. We need this. And I thank God these valiant people have come out and decided they want to do something for our young people. 972-647-1893 is the number to call and talk with Dr. Roscoe Smith. Dr. Smith, how important is this summit to be successful?
It is so important that without it, it's going to make our job much more difficult. What's happened is we all have to come together, okay, to do what is right for our children, and that's what we are. It's urgent. We're saying that people can help. If you could just call my number or my email and send me the names of presidents of ministers' organizations, other organizations. We know that if all our churches know what's going on, okay, that we won't have any problem. That they'll want to do the right thing.
You got a lot of preachers listening to you right now.
Yes, sir.
Don't fool yourself. This, that's why I need to give out. Friday evening, March 22nd, the summit begins at 5:30 p.m. It'll last till 9:30 p.m. Saturday morning, March 23rd, the summit will begin at 9 a.m. and end at 12 noon. Those people that have been invited participants in it is Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, a lot of our elected state officials and local officials and local school board members also have been our targeted audience, parents, students, educators, ministers, community people. This is open basically for everybody to come out and be a part of it. Everybody to come out. Now, we're going to have to keep announcing this because this is a month away. We're going to have to keep reminding you how important this urgent summit meeting is with the Coalition for an Accountable System of Education. Just remember CASE. Remember CASE. Dr. Mike Miles, the General Superintendent, will be there. So we need to keep this on the front burner and be a part of this. So call us at 972-647-1893. All right, let's go to line 4 and say good morning. Is that Collie? All right, on line 4.
How you doing, brother?
Fine. How are you?
Is there any time when he can give me his number, so I can get his number? I'm not telling you I'm gonna do it all, but I will call all the churches Monday morning and tell them what's going on and see where they come. This is what I want to see.
Okay.
Could he give me his number? All
right, Dr. Smith.
972-741-8213.
8213.
And give me your number and I'll call you too.
Okay, 469-324-6185. And I'm talking about all the big churches, all the small churches. I will get in touch with them. Let them know what's going on.
Let me give you a point on that. Call them on Sunday mornings and ask them if they have to get it approved through the pastor or whatever to put this in their morning announcements.
Okay.
That everybody. Did you get the number, Dr. Smith?
I didn't get his number.
Would you give your number again?
469.
All right.
324-6185.
And your name is Collie.
Collie, yes. But let me say this to you. I had an outreach when I lived in Houston. I tried to help the kid. I'm from Dallas, but I moved to Houston, right? And I hate to say this, but I'm going to say this to you. and I had over 2,000 kids come through my nonprofit. Money out of my pocket before I started getting a nonprofit. And one thing I learned, brother, you got to understand. Every time I would take the kids, I started with a basketball, right? Then they had to go to church. Then I got tutoring for the kids. And you know what I found out? When you got them wired up, when you got a program, they go home, they get deprogrammed. Because when they go home, follow some of them home. I'm not talking about just Dallas. I live in DeSoto, man. It's bad out in DeSoto now. The schools out in DeSoto now, not even recognized anymore. So what I'm saying is, let's do this. You're doing the right thing. We're gonna try to get this started. But the parents at home, go to these houses and see who's at home. And man, you will shake your head. I'm just being honest with you. Nobody checking homework, nobody asking to have homework, nobody nothing. Don't go to school for no program. Now this is why a lot of these giving up, because they're looking at like if they don't care, we don't care. And I'm telling you, $5 Oak Club, $1, $9, the Soda City, Duncanville, all of it. It's basketball, it's football, and that's it. You got kids that's making straight A's, honor students, you don't never hear nothing about it. But we hear about the All-American football player, All-American track runner, and this and that. Why do you think so many of these kids go to school? They're real good at sports, but they never go to college? Because they're dumb as you know what. And I'm saying this to you, brother. You're doing the right thing. We need to get this money done, get these churches involved, okay? But we have to get the parents. How do you get parents involved that can't even read and write themselves?
Well, he's inviting all parents to come out. The parents are welcome. Parents are welcome. That's one of the groups he's targeting is parents. And we thank you, Akali, and Dr. Smith will be calling you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. That clears the line. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to Arthur on line 3. Good morning. Go right ahead, Arthur. He got knocked off. Knocked him out. All right, let's go to Reverend Wright on line 1. All righty. Good morning, Reverend Wright.
Good morning, Doc. How you doing this morning? Got a great show there.
Thank you.
With you. I hate to keep you off of the subject that you're on, which is a great subject, but I wanted to inform you on the civic trial hearing that we had for the 911 operator this past week.
Yeah.
But before I get into that, I also want to make a comment on the young man that was shot breaking into the home of a homeowner, and the mother was pleading that he should have gave him a warning shot.
I tell you what, Reverend Wright, call me in the last segment. I'm going to give you the whole last segment. You have a whole lot to discuss.
You got it.
Yeah, let's do the last segment.
What is that, 8:30?
Yeah, no, 8:40.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, we'll do that. All right, thank you. Thank you, Reverend Wright. 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Dr. Smith, you were a principal.
Yes.
Now, when I used to come by your school, you were over there off of Haskell.
Yes.
You were not in the richest area of the city. You were not in the richest area. How did you fare, and how did the children fare over there academically?
Well, they received every award that came out of the state for high achievement. There's a fellow in
this area off of South Haskell.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fellow named Russell Fish that was in Austin, Texas. They were doing research. They read in books about African American kids couldn't learn, and so what they were trying to prove, they were trying to find some school or some school district that was educating African American kids.
Okay.
Well, in the whole state of Texas, J.J. Rhodes stood at the top of the list of the schools that was properly educating African American boys and girls in reading and in math.
Mm-hmm.
Some schools did it good in reading, but not in math. Some did good in math, but not in reading. But Rhodes did it across the board. And so that was, and so that's still.
What did you do at Joseph J. Rhodes to raise them both academically acceptable or superior with math and reading? What did you do? What did you do different?
Well, they allowed us to to hire outstanding teachers. I mean, math teachers that were math teachers, you see, and art teachers that were art teachers, and reading language arts teachers, and so that.
Oh, now you saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
They allowed you to hire teachers who had a particular skill and let that teacher teach. In her skill or his skill. Right. And that means a whole lot, because a lot of people think just because a person has a degree and been certified as a teacher that they can teach anything. That's not true.
That's right. Yeah.
Is that one of the major problems we have now in our schools, that we're having teachers to teach out of their field?
That's right. That's one of the major problems. Another problem is the parents are just not involved like they were involved at Rhodes, you see. And of course, but now, I go to Rhodes right now. Mm-hmm. Parents are over there. I mean, on PTA meeting night, they fill that auditorium up. I mean, some parents are still working.
They're still fighting the fight.
Yeah,
fighting a good fight.
That's right. They're out there. So that got an outstanding principal over there, Miss Cheryl Nevels, and it's got some outstanding teachers. I mean, and it's got some wonderful parents. So,
but when I see DISD selling buildings, selling schools that were exemplary, were sold.
Yes.
What are we doing? What is? I mean, we've had trustees to endorse that. African American trustees to endorse that. Right. What do you think about that situation? What do have the coalition discuss that?
Well, no, the coalition we talked about it on the side there a lot, but what we were interested in that part of it, but what we right now is that we want to provide an external support to improve the education of all the students. And so that's what we are, that's what this issue here is about, this summit, you see. Dr. Al Roberts and Dr. Charmaine Price head that initiative up. See, so that's what we were trying to do. And because, we don't have any control over some of the things they do there. We give input, but then they do it. But what we are about doing here now is to cause our boys and girls to achieve and want to achieve at the top level.
All right. How important is the general superintendent in this?
It's very important. It's very important. Our superintendent, he came in and he's trying everything. I think he's trying everything he knows to do.
You impressed with this superintendent?
I am. Yes, I am.
So you've been impressed with Mike Barber?
I've been impressed with him. I tell you what, I've never seen a superintendent to come into this school district and do the kind of training that he did on that first week when he trained the principal and the directors.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he he knows the curriculum there, you see. Okay, but for somehow, things, say in the last few superintendents, we had some problems now.
We've had some dudes.
Well, yeah. And I'm
that's to say the least.
Yeah. And so he has a difficult job. I mean to turn this around. I mean we talking about coming from the lowest to go to the top. And what we like about him, he believes he can do it.
You believe African Americans should put their full support behind this superintendent?
We do. We do. I mean, we have to believe. I mean, it's no use having a person in a position and not supporting them. We've got to support him. You see, we've got to support him, and he seems to be trying to do his best.
All right. I tell you what, I got a board full of calls, and is it too early to take the break? Because I want to get these people in, and because I'm trying to take I'm going to try to take this next segment as many calls as possible. Let's take the break, and we're all of you are holding on the line. I'm going to try to give you an opportunity to get in to speak with Dr. Smith. We'll be right back.
KNON thanks you for your pledge to our recent pledge drive. Now is the time to make your pledge count. Send your pledge to KNON's P.O. Box 710-909, Dallas, Texas 75371. If you missed our pledge drive, you can still support community radio by pledging on the web at knon.org. Your pledge only counts if you pay it. That's KNON Box 710-909, Dallas, Texas 75371. Be sure to put the name of the show you are supporting on the check, money order, or the envelope. Questions about KNON Pledge Drive? Call 214-828-9500, extension 234.
Dallas J. Spiver Productions presents the Gigantic Gospel Concert 2013, featuring some of the gospel artists like the Rev Barnett, Dr. McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, Little Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th at Friendship West Baptist Church, 2020 West Wheatland Road in Dallas, with the Rance Allen, Dr. McKenzie and the Highlights, George Dean and the Gospel 4, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QC, Tim Rogers and the Fellas, and Lil Roy and the Revelations. Saturday, April 13th. Doors open at 3 p.m. Show starts at 4. Tickets at ticketweb.com. Friendship West Baptist Church and J. Spivey Productions at 877-291-1918.
Top Dollar Tax Service. Tax preparation offering services for business and personal taxes. Electronic filing, W-2s, Schedule Cs, 1099. Student credit funded in 24 hours. That's Top Dollar Tax Service, located at 3333 Cedar Crest Boulevard in Dallas. Their phone number is 214-941-1176 or on the web at www.topdollartaxservice.com. Serving the community for over 8 years, a CPA is available. They are open Monday through Saturdays, 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. and Sundays by appointment. For information, Omar at 214-941-1176. That's 214-941-1176. Hey.
We're back on Church Information in Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Our special guest this morning is Dr. Roscoe Smith, and he's with the Coalition for an Accountable System of Education, CASE. He's with CASE, and they're having this big conference coming up, March 22nd, 23rd at Friendship West Baptist Church. But right now, Dr. Smith, you have some announcements you want to make?
Yes, I want to say that I want to ask the Radio Land out there to, when they see some of the people I'm going to call their names, when they see them, to just thank them, because they don't have to do what they're doing for our kids. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Brenda Fields. I mean, you can't start it without talking about Brenda Fields.
Yeah, she's the constant caller. She's going to be on top of everything. Oh, God.
Yes, and she's a wonderful person. Yeah, you can't beat her. Mm-hmm. The Lieutenant Colonel Hollis Bashir, former school board president, and Robert Price, former school board member, and Ruth Burden, Reverend Halsey Higman, Mavis Knight, who's on the state school board, and Reverend Claude Maples with the IMA, and Vicki Meeks, and Reverend John Morris with the Pastor Coalition, and Minister Jeffrey Muhammad with the Nation, Thomas Muhammad, and Dr. Dolores Seamster, the most outstanding trainer that I've ever seen. There are people who are on our advisory board that call in, and they even come to meetings and work. Reverend Derek Bowman and Reverend Jerry Christen, Marilyn Clark, Dr. Darrell Coleman, Councilwoman Carol Davis, State Representative Yvonne Davis, John Fullenweiler, Reverend Clarence Glover, Dr. Ron Hay, Dr. Frederick Haynes III, Judge Von Seal Hill Jones, Reverend Dr. Zan W. Holmes, Matt Houston, Dr. Johnny Lawton, Reverend Dr. Henry Masters, Aaron Michaels, Dr. Beverly Mitchell Brooks, Dr. Stephens Nash, Jerome Overton, Commissioner John Wiley Price, our mayor downtown, Diane Ragsdale, the state representative Tony Rose, and NAACP President Juanita Wallace.
All right, that's your advisory board.
Yes, sir.
And your board members.
Yes, sir.
All right, 972-647-1893. Let's try to get these as many calls in as we can get. All right, let's go to where are we? Let's go. Is that Arthur on line 3? Let's go to line 3 and see if we can get Arthur in. I guess I got this right. Arthur, you there?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yes, I'm there. A few minutes ago, one of your callers made a reference to the taking prayer to school. I'd like to address that if I could.
Go right ahead.
One, they did not take prayer to school. Kids can still pray if they want to. What the court said was you cannot force a kid to pray. Back when I was growing up, we only had but one religion in school, which was the Christian religion. And we had a minister came around on Thursdays. He taught Bible. He was a Baptist. We learned earlier that if you were a Baptist, you had advantage of that. My wife was a principal for years. What she did and what the school system did was every morning they allowed a moment of silence. The kids can do whatever they want to do. They can pray, they can twiddle their thumbs or whatever. If they want to pray, they're free to pray, but they cannot force the other kids to pray. What she told her parents was, if you want your kids to get a religious upbringing, get them off your behind on Sunday, cut the TV off, and take your kids to church of your choice. That way they're raised in the religion you want them to be raised in. Once, twice a week, cut the TV off, take out your Bible, and talk about the Bible. They had this thing, the kids decided they want to come to school early, stand on the flagpole and say a prayer. ACLU said that's fine. The first week they had 175 kids. They got the pictures in the paper, got an article on the paper. The next week they had 110 kids. The following week they only had 70 kids. The problem was the parents complained about having to get up early to bring the kids to school so they could pray. Now these parents want their kids to get religion, but they have to take the responsibility to get the religions of their choice. The schools cannot do everything for the kids. The parents have to take some responsibility themselves. If you want your kids to get religion, take them to church.
All right. Thank you for your call. That clears the line, 972-647-1893. Let's go to Arthur. Is that Alfred on line 4? Let's go to Alfred. Is that Alfred?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Alfred.
I would like to ask Dr. Smith to talk about the 35 low-achieving schools. Parents and this community just seem to be asleep when it comes to the achievement of our kids. So, Dr. Smith, will you talk about the low-achieving schools? What makes you think that Dallas is going to respond?
Well, we think Dallas is going to respond because when we were coming along, they responded to us. Okay.
They who?
I mean, the parents and the
citizens.
And the citizens, they responded to us, and so I have to believe that they're going to respond because see, these are boys and girls. See, what I learned a long time ago is that it doesn't matter what color you are. See, because you didn't decide on what day you was going to be born.
Doc, let me interrupt.
You didn't decide on what color you was going to be. You were born here, and you were the color you are. Okay, and so what I'm saying is, people from all persuasion, they have to be thankful of who they are. Okay, and to say that they're going to help all kids to be successful. We have to depend on other people too. They depended on us.
Well, I'm saying Dallas is asleep. We've been in Dallas a number of years. Education is a low priority. How can we awaken the community to to make it come to the rescue of our boys and girls.
Well, Miss Brenda Fields told me, so you need to talk with Rev Barnett. That's what you need to do. So you need to go over and be on his show. Say, we need to hit the religious land. Okay, we need to make sure all our ministers know what's going on. We need to make sure all the community know what's going on. And if we start there, okay, when I start with our ministers and our churches and our homes and our parents and our schools, we'll lick this. We'll make it work. I believe we can do it, and I know we will. Because I know our ministers just can't sit back and see this happening and not doing anything.
Can you talk about the low achieving schools for a minute?
Okay, what we'll do is at this summit, we're gonna have a list of all the low achieving schools, and if you give me your phone number or your email address, I will email that to you. Okay, because there is a list, and of course you can go online and pull that list down. You can call the Dallas Independent School District and their communication department. They'll send that list to you. They'll give it to you.
Well, I'm interested in more than the list.
Okay.
What is DISD doing specifically to educate these kids?
Are you planning on coming to the summit, caller?
Fortunately, I am.
Good. Yeah. See, that's one of the things that we can do. You'll never win a fight unless you get in the ring. You'll always lose if you never get in the ring. So they're getting in the ring and they're fighting. They're fighting to win. But the only way they can win is they got to get in the ring. You got to get the thing rolling. You got to get things started. So people like you and all of our listeners, everyone that's listening to us right now, we have thousands of people listening. If everybody showed up there at Friendship West, there wouldn't be enough room. Then it'd be nowhere close. And do something about our children, because believe me, if it's happening in Dallas, it's spilling over. It spills over into Cedar Hill, Lancaster, DeSoto, Duncanville, Red Oak, or wherever we are, it spills over. Dallas is just the big pan, but it will spill over into our suburban district. So everybody needs to be aware of what's going on, and this conference will help make them aware, because they got some good people on there, people that are concerned about our kids, and people with track records that know how to get things done. Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you.
That clears the line, 972-647-1893. Bring me, where is James? On line 2? Yeah, bring me up James. All right, on line 2. All right, James from Palestine. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Rev Barnett and Dr. Smith. I appreciate what y'all doing, your sacrifices.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Critical thinking going on this morning, and I want a few things I'm going to try to say in a very brief time. One of them is, and mine is a terrible thing to waste. We're finding that out even more so. And I saw a clipping one day that say, if you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book. Reverend Barnett, right now in Austin, Texas, I believe there's a African American legislative summit going on, and the chairman of the Texas Education Agency, Michael Williams, should be there also this morning. You're probably aware of that, and I hope they cover some things that you and Dr. Smith and we are talking about.
Yeah.
Something else, yes, sir.
I want to ask Dr. Smith, while everybody's listening to your own, Dr. Smith, how important is it for African American history, true African and African American history to be taught in our public schools?
I think it's very important. What's happened is that while I was at Rhodes, since we didn't have it in the total curriculum there, I wrote a book, and the book for all the parents, because I had to have the parents to know that Africans were the seat of knowledge. Aristotle, and they all went to Africa to learn.
That's correct.
You see, and so, but they're not taught that. So
no.
So I mean, our kids have to know that. I mean that the greatest minds this world ever produced came out of Africa.
That's correct.
And so,
all of our science, mathematics, you name it,
yes,
astronomy, everything that the world uses today.
Yes.
Our ancestors came up with the idea, invented, developed, and but we're not taught that, and this is why our children don't believe they can learn, because they believe they've been locked out. God didn't give them this gift, and suddenly in their minds they don't believe they have to give to be a physicist, a mathematician, a rocket scientist. There, a lot of them don't believe it and don't realize we discovered it.
And your greatest people were Africans who were physicists and scientists. And, my goodness, yes. Oh,
explorers, you think?
Rev Barnett from the Mr. Isaac Wynn shared some books with me. One of them is about Arthur Anthony T. Browder.
All right.
The Nile Valley contributions to civilization.
Yes.
And how these people went up and disfigured those pyramids and other African artifacts and all to try to.
Your good friend Napoleon Bonaparte. Yes.
Yes, sir. Something else before we get away. In Bryan, Texas, a couple of weeks ago, I was up there. There was a NAACP director, Damon Hewitt, and what the program was pipeline to prison. And they're very concerned about the citations and the first offender program that these kids are being subjected to. What it is when we were in school, I graduated in '67. We were the all last class here in Palestine at the A.M. Story Black School, but. When you were disciplined or something, you either got the board, the paddle, or something, but it happened within the school system. But what is happening now, these kids are facing police officers, and they're being written up. That was one lady at the meeting said her child had been issued a grandson issued a citation in the 8th grade. He didn't take care of it. When he became a young adult, guess what? When they stopped him, they arrested him.
Yeah.
So these things will follow you, and
all of this. Why don't you come on up from Palestine and just sit in on this summit? All right.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to coming to try to video it and everything. I appreciate what you're doing.
All right. Thank you. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Tony. All righty. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning. How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
All right. I wanted to recommend that you might want to put this on Facebook if the gentleman has access to that, because I know about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Fisherwood has something similar to education, and I knew about it because Casey posted it on Facebook. I didn't know about it before then, and that's another way that you can spread the word to people who don't actually listen to the radio station.
Yeah, well, we're going to be pushing it. If you hit it a certain amount of times here on Canyon, it gets all over the city, everybody. And we're going to keep pushing it, all right?
And I want to add this. Are we going to talk about learning foreign languages at this conference? Because it seems though a lot of blacks are against learning a second language. And our kids are going to be competing with the world, not just the Highland Parks or South Lake Carrolls or United States people. These jobs that they are creating are being created around the world, and we have to have access to that. So I'm going to hang up and listen off air. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Foreign languages.
Well, if that's what's is out there, we'll talk about most of the things that parents want to talk about. Okay, and foreign language will be that if that's what parents want to talk about, because they can cause, by asking the question, they can cause those things to happen. What we've been doing is, we've been just saturated right here on the reading, writing, arithmetic kind of thing. I mean, just our kids just
getting the basics.
Getting the basics. I mean, they're just falling behind there. Wow. And say so. We gotta. I mean, that's another hurdle we got to go there with the different languages. We would like for our kids to speak more than one language, more than English. You see,
we master English.
Yeah, right. Yes, we need to master that. Yeah,
because that's the subject that's failed more in college by African American students than any other subject is English.
Yes,
yes, it is. All right, thank you for your call. Let's try to get my good friend here. I see Dr. Rev Edwards is on line 4. Let's try to get Dr. Edwards in before we end the segment. Doc, I hate we push for time. Good morning, Dr. Edwards. Dr. Travis Edwards? Is he's not there? Righty. Okay. All right, let's try this now. Dr. Edwards, you there?
Yeah, Rev Barnett, how you doing?
Fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I didn't get a chance to get in on the original conversation, but we were talking about the history of African American or African people, and particularly medicine. You know, we didn't even know how to do C-sections over here until 100 years ago. They had to go to Africa and learn how to do C-sections.
They couldn't even do C-sections in America.
They couldn't even.
I tell you what, Doc. I'm pushed for time. I'm gonna hold you over, and then after you, we'll get with Dr. Wright. But we asked Dr. Smith, would you stick around just for a moment in the next segment, and we'll hear from then Dr. Wright. Would you put him on hold and bring him back in the next segment? We'll be right back.
This is Sonny Boy Mark, and I'd like to take a minute here to tell you about over 60 minutes of great blues listening available now on KNON's Texas Blues Radio Volume 5 Blues CD. This is some great stuff, folks. 15 tracks from the Two-Tones, Blues Boy Bo, Betty Whittington, Andrea Dawson, Kirkland James, Sonny Colley, Johnny Red and the Roosters, the Chris Watson Band, the Rough Cut Blues Band, Jeff Stone with Charlie Love, David Millsap, Sir Loin and the Ass-Kicking Machine, Michael J. and the Paul Bird Band, and JJ and the Detonators. The 1,000 copies we made are selling fast, and we won't reissue it. Get yours now at Forever Young Records in Grand Prairie, Record Town in Fort Worth, and in Dallas at Bill's Records and Rewind Music. The CD is available as a download at cdbaby.com. All proceeds benefit KNON, sponsored by Forever Young Records. Vinyl copies available at Forever Young Records only. For more info on Texas Blues Radio Volume 5, visit knon.org. Your ears been bending for some blues? Well, feed them the real thing with Texas Blues Radio Volume 5.
If it's time to get rid of your old gas guzzler, the KNON Vehicle Donation Program can help. There's still a market for those old vehicles, and if you donate it, you're helping to support quality programming here on KNON. Just call 877-KNON-AUTO or go online to knon.org. We'll take care of everything from pickup to tax paperwork. That's 877-KNON-AUTO or online at knon.org.
All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. We're going to be hearing from Reverend Ron Wright in just a moment. But Dr. Drovers Edwards is on the line talking with Dr. Smith. Dr. Edwards, are you there? He's on line 1, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Edwards, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, go right ahead, Doc.
I didn't get a chance to get the gist of the program, but I understand that the doctor is bringing a historical perspective here to Dallas.
Yeah, let me give it out. This is an urgent meeting to save our children. It's the Coalition for an Accountable System of Education. They call it the acronym CASE, and they're going to meet with Dr. Mike Miles, the General Superintendent of Dallas Independent School District, and it's a summit of the education of African American students in the Dallas Independent School District. It's going to be held Friday, March 22nd, beginning at 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at Friendship West. Saturday, March 23rd, it's going to be at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's at Friendship West also. Those who may not know where Friendship West is, it's at 2020 West Wheatland Road here in the city of Dallas, right across from Carter High School. And everybody is invited. There's going to be those who are panelists, I'm sure we'll have the General Superintendent there. Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson has been invited. We got state elected officials, local officials, and just a lot of people. School board members will be there. But this summit is for our children in the Dallas public schools, and which spills over to other districts, and is basically being pushed by the Coalition for an Accountable System of Education CASE.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, Rev Barnett, everybody knows how great we are except us.
Yeah.
And I think you remember when we had our school out there, we taught our kids 5 languages.
That was a fantastic school. Oh, my God.
Our kids can learn, just need a set of instructions, and I think the doctor is is right on target, and you know, in medicine, obviously we Imhotep is the father of medicine, not Hippocrates. He learned everything from Egypt and got all of it after Alexander the Great took over all of the volumes. But I enjoyed your show this morning, and I hate I didn't get the first of it, but I just got off work.
All right, thank you, Doc. Thank you. Thank you for your call. All righty. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for being a part of this program. Leave me your contact number. I probably already have, but Lee, I have to keep things fresh for me to remember what they are. All righty. And we'd like to thank you. And we'll be having Dr. Smith back on before this conference coming up to keep it on your mind. Everybody needs to be a part of this particular conference. All right. All right. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Reverend Dr. Ron Wright. Good morning, Reverend Wright.
Good morning, Pastor. How you doing this morning? You got a great show going on with Dr. Smith there. Good morning, Dr. Smith.
Good morning, sir. God bless you.
I was listening to the callers and coming in, and before we get into 911, I want to share something right quick. Until we put the S back on parents and get the responsibility back into the household, it's going to be hard for us to get anything else done. We've got to become that strong black family that we used to be when we were coming up.
That's right.
How the difference. We got to put the S on the back of parents. This young man that was shot for burglarizing his home, they caught me short. The mother said he could have shot a warning shot. Well, that was back in Gunsmoke days. They don't fire warning shots now. We've got to educate our children that you cannot commit crimes and expect to survive. Now, what would have happened had he broken that house and killed the owner of the house? What would the mother be saying then? And so got to put those parents.
Wait a minute. The burglar's mother said that they didn't have to kill him. It should have been a warning shot fired.
A warning shot.
Well, you know, that's got to be a frightening experience. You are in your home and somebody's breaking in. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
You know, it's unfortunate. We've got to teach our kids. You cannot see. I mean, what would have happened if it was in the reverse? The kid would have come in and killed that man. What would his family would have been saying? Yeah. What would she have said about her own son? We've got to get the family, the mother and the father, back in the household so they can be accountable for their children. You know, all the things that we're doing in the community is great, but until we build the family back up,
that's right.
We'll always have a fight. But let me tell you, I also have on the phone HR Director for Justice Secret Safety and Executive Director for NOS Consultant, Rebecca Williams, who represented Angela Graham in the civil service hearing. Rebecca, are you there on the phone?
Yes, I am.
All right, good morning, Rebecca.
How are you?
Fine. All right, what about this 911 call?
Go ahead, Rebecca, you start.
Well, Miss Graham was terminated for, they say she violated one of their standard operating procedures.
Who did she work for?
She worked for Dallas Police 911.
All right.
But as the hearing went on, I was a little disturbed to find that no one representing the city had ever worked in 911 before. None of them had ever taken a 911 call. So, and soon after this happened and they terminated Miss Graham, they changed all of the procedures in the way they handle 911 calls.
After she was terminated?
After she was terminated.
But the procedures were different while she was there.
Correct.
All right.
She was on the floor unsupervised. But the real travesty of justice was the city of Dallas issued us some information they had not issued to the public. I copied it and passed it out to everyone I know because I didn't want my prejudicial ear to be the only ear listening to the call prior to the day that 2 days prior to her parents getting there. As I explained to Chief Brown in our first hearing, it's a tragedy that Miss Cook lost her life, but Miss Cook lost her life due to the dereliction of duty on behalf of Dallas Police. They elected not to go to her house. They elected not to answer a call within the allotted time. They're only given 10 minutes to get to a disturbance where there's a struggle. All of these things are in the notes. The public was hearing. The hearing was public. Anyone can go read the notes.
This is the case where Deanna Cook
where Miss Deanna Cook
was killed.
Unfortunately lost her life.
Right.
But the sad part, Reverend Barnett, I got the call from the day before. They let us keep those.
Okay.
Miss Cook asked the police, please, don't knock on her door and alert this man that she was calling the police on him. On that call, the 911 operator said, I got to tell him you called. No, you don't. She did not have to inform that gentleman that lady had called the police on him because he was across the street at a park loitering.
Okay.
So he could have been picked up for any reason.
Okay.
And I told Reverend Wright something about everything just didn't sit well with me.
Okay.
During the tape, we were allowed to listen to the tape that Rebecca had, and that's the information she's talking about. In that tape, you can hear this girl screaming for help, and both 911 operators did their job, and documents is there to prove it.
But the police didn't show up on time.
No, the police were supposed, they had the dispatcher did not dispatch the call within 3 minutes.
Okay.
And the police officers did not arrive in the 6 to 10 minutes they were supposed to arrive. But no one is in DPD, not one police officer or dispatcher is being held liable. But what I told Reverend
Are they using this young woman to cover themselves?
Yes, they are.
That tape indicts. That tape, and if it gets out to public, you will see that it is going to follow the negligence of the Dallas Police Department because that 911 operator said urgent. And in that tape, you can hear the young lady saying, why are you doing this? And he says, it's because you called the police on me.
Wow. Oh, my God. And that's what that got her killed.
Well, the police picked him up the day before he murdered her and just gave him a ride home. That's all they did.
Gave him a ride to Box Springs. So working into her door, you could say, why did you keep my door in? Then she said, why are you doing this? He said, because you called the police. He wasn't talking about right then, but he had no idea she was on the phone with the 911 operator. He was talking about a day prior, the day before, that evidently the police may have told him, somebody told him, that she called the police on him. So this was one of the reasons why this young man did this, and this falls on the shoulders of the Dallas Police Department.
This is something, and they've terminated her, correctly?
Yes, they terminated one young lady. One young lady they gave 10 days.
Unnecessary delay. They said 6 minutes of unnecessary delay. In other words, they fired this girl because it took them 6 minutes to call the police to an area that was a crime that had already been committed. And they said the reason why is because they kicked the door, the family kicked the door in and destroyed the crime scene. And Miss Williams was the representative, does one awesome job. But here's the thing, the 911 operator had no idea, knowing that it was a crime scene. She didn't work the following day. And the parents, if they looked in the window and saw that there may have been trouble, why didn't the Dallas police do that? That's their job.
Yeah. This really hurt me because I knew Deanna when she was a child. She was probably one of the greatest track stars ever came through Dallas. And I knew her I met her when she was about 7th or 8th grade. And she was a nice young lady. Is something wrong here when the police department is going to push this off? What is y'all's next move? What do you plan to do, Reverend Wright?
Well, there were a lot of mishandled things within the entire hearing. For instance, they had some hearings saying we couldn't use evidence that we had acquired legally. The attorney for the city failed to file the proper motions. I allowed her to go on because that gives Miss Graham a loophole. The city gave me information that they claim now that it was given to me in error. They did not inform Miss Graham of her next step, which is she can get a hearing in district court, go before a judge, trial by jury.
Okay.
They did not. The city of Dallas made a mistake about 6 times throughout this entire process, but I'm wondering who will lose their job behind not knowing how to do their job. And the sad part is the hearing officer, who was the chair, was appointed by Mike Rollins.
Is that right?
I'm questioning his judgment and who he appoints. And does he really need to be the mayor of Dallas? We need to pay attention to who we vote for.
All right.
Mike, there should be a way that the city council can overturn Chief Brown, because Chief Brown is only covering up for his department. He's not interested in justice. He's not interested in what's right or wrong. But Rev Barnett, here's my big question that no one could answer for me. How did the gentleman obtain interest to her house? Her family are saying they kicked the door in. On the tape, she clearly states he kicked the door in. So why is there
who is they? The police?
The police are saying they walked all the way around the premises. They didn't go in the backyard because they thought they heard a dog, or they heard a dog. They don't know if a dog is in the backyard or not. These are police officers with pepper spray, pistols, stun guns. They got everything they need. They got everything they need.
Well, it seems like those fellas didn't do, lady, whoever they were, didn't do their job.
No, they did not. And everyone who listened to, like I said, I let everyone I could think of. I basically just handed the tapes out to anybody who wanted to listen to them. And they all didn't understand how the police are going unpunished.
Brother, if you hear that tape, it will break you down. I mean, everybody, we had a closed hearing that directed the tape, and every judge that's still that stand had tears in their eyes.
We got people on the line. What is this, Claudia? Claudia? Bring her on. Let's hear what she has to say. All righty. All right.
How are you?
How are you? We lost the other call. We lost the main call. Go right ahead. We're just about out of time. Go right ahead, Claudia.
Good morning, Rev Barnett.
Yes,
Good morning, this is Claudia Fowler. Reverend Wright, how are you?
Well, they got bumped off. Just go right ahead.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Let me say this, and good morning, Dr. Smith. I think y'all, I'm ready for the summit. Also, I am a former school board member, so I wanted to kind of put that in. I'm glad that y'all are working on education. But I was on the grand jury that convicted the Vecchio Patrick, the one that killed Deanna Cooks. And just like you said, Reverend Barnett, I also knew her and know the family. You know, and the picture that they painted of her before the grand jury was really, to me, it was really, it was horrible, because they tried to maintain that, well, she was with him voluntarily that morning when she got killed. And bottom line, I agree. I think the DPD partially did not do their job. I mean, they were in route, but you don't stop to get a bottle of water and probably a hot dog and hang around 7-Eleven. And also,
wait a minute. Claudia, you're saying they stopped to get a hot dog and hung out?
A bottle of water. They stopped at 7-Eleven on their way to Deanna's house. I'm telling you. Now, because when I'm on grand jury,
wait a minute. Did you see they stopped at 7-Eleven on a call?
Rev Barnett, they made a stop on the way to Deanna Cook's house. I said that she would be alive today. But I guess my issue is now working with things of domestic violence. You know, Deanna Cooks got killed and you know, she died. But we wait until another woman is killed by an African-American man to start coalitions, to start task force, and I just don't understand how many, we have had countless African-American women and countless Hispanic women, Asian women to get killed, but now, because of this last woman that got killed in the garage over at UT Southwestern, we now have task force in place. We now have meetings, and we're going to have a big rally to talk to men about domestic violence. I don't understand. Dallas needs to come up to speed on being fair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no, I was on the grand jury that convicted the Vecchio Patrick, and the DA came in and tried to paint a picture of her that partially was her fault. And it outraged me, because as an African-American woman sitting on a panel of mostly people of non-color, I spoke up, and like I told her, first of all, you know, it doesn't matter whether she was with him at 10 o'clock that morning or not. That doesn't matter. He still killed her.
That's right. Thank you, Claudia. I'm completely out of time. I wish you could go on. I wish you could go on with Rev Wright. Well, thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for being a part of this. Remember, the big summit is coming March 22nd, 23rd at Friendship West. 5 o'clock, March 5:30 on the 22nd. 9 o'clock on the 23rd, Friday and Saturday. 2020 West Wheatland Road, right across from Carter High School. And thank all of you calling, all of you listening. I'm Senior Pastor of Heavenly Joy Church. Everybody is invited. Come by and see us. And we're at Booten and Master, service again at 11 o'clock every Sunday morning, 9:30 Sunday school, Bible study, 6:30 Wednesday evening. Gotta get out and gotta run. Coming up, Workers Beat, and y'all stay tuned to all the great programming right here on KNON. We'll see you. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye.
KNON 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.